I think PFF got it right with their 8 best quarterbacks. I think C.J. Stroud is the only quarterback I look at. He's tier 3, and I thought, okay, he's a little lower than I would put him. Let's put it on the screen for our television audience. I
haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so tier 1, I think is pretty indisputable. Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Allen. Do you have a problem with that?
Not at all. They're in a stratosphere by themselves right now. No, they're all by themselves. Special group right there.
Okay, then it goes Jaden Daniels. I'm comfortable with that. Jalen Hurts, Matt Stafford, and Herbert. That's the one I think I would put C.J. Stroud in. But are you comfortable with tier 2?
I'm pretty comfortable with it. I would put C.J. Stroud in front of over there in front of Jalen Hurts. That would be mine right there. Okay. I like Jalen Hurts. I would say he's a top 10 quarterback. I don't think I would put him in the top 8. I think he'd be 9 or 10 for me. I think with Jalen Hurts and what I look at too, we have a little bit of a revisionist history here. He won the Super Bowl and everybody just forgot about the 10 weeks before that we were like, wait, the passing game and the quarterback was the issue. Right? He had a good NFC championship game. I know that. But divisional game, we were like, man, the quarterback and the passing game. Wild card game, we were like, man, the passing game and the quarterback not looking good. The last 7 or 8 weeks of the year, his top receiver said, what's wrong with the team? The passing game. So how can now you be one of the best quarterbacks in the game? This is what I fight with Eagles fans all the time. I got a lot of respect, but I think I would have C.J. Stroud in his place on that tier.
All right, guys, I got to get into this. Chris Sims typically has a lot of good takes that I agree with, such as his stance on the tush push and where he sees like San Francisco Eagles rosters the last couple of years. I agree with a lot of what he says, but his take on Jalen Hurts is just flat out wrong. It's ridiculous, quite frankly. Now, for example, he talks about, the wild card games. Well, Jalen Hurts didn't play that good. Jalen Hurts was coming back from an injury. He hadn't played in several weeks. It took him a while to get going. Even in the Rams game, the only reason the Rams came close in that game was because Jalen Hurts got tackled weirdly, hurt his knee, and he really lost his mobility the rest of the game. But before that, the game really wasn't close. The Eagles were dominating. And Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback, so of course he's gonna you lose your quarterback, he's gonna bring his team in close position to winning. But the bottom line is there wasn't a passing issue in the wild card game or the next week. Neither of those. The problem was Jalen Hurts' health. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, quite frankly, the other thing Chris Sims is so focused on when it comes to quarterback ranking is passing ability. I mean, basically, if you have Chris Sims rate his list of top quarterbacks 1 through 32, it's all based on quarterbacks' passing ability. So, like, for example, if you only want to do passing ability, okay, maybe his list is a little more reasonable, but that's not what a quarterback is about. A quarterback's about a lot more than just throwing the ball. But before I even go into what else a quarterback needs to do, Jalen Hurts had a 70+% completion in both Super Bowls he's played in. It's not a fluke. We've seen him play as good as a quarterback can play in 2 Super Bowls now, in 2 NFC championship games. So we've seen him at the biggest moment, on the biggest stage, use his arm to drop dimes and to win games. So don't give me this BS that this guy can't pass. Now, if you want to say Joe Burrow is a better passer, Patrick Mahomes has a better arm, okay, I'm not even going to argue that. Maybe they do. I mean, they're great quarterbacks, don't get me wrong. But the bottom line is there's more to being a quarterback. And Jalen Hurts is a good enough passer to win Super Bowls. And what else do you need? That's all you need a quarterback to do. He can drop a dime to A.J. Brown on 4th down in the biggest moment. I've seen it multiple times in the playoffs. He could drop a dime to Devontae Smith 50 yards down the field to seal the Super Bowl. So I don't care what people say about passing ability. People are so stuck in the past. They do not allow for a player to improve each year. And they just want to keep him where he was drafted at, where his college career was when he came into the NFL. Really, I mean, people are just so closed-minded that they misjudge Jalen Hurts, misjudged his ability to improve as a quarterback, misjudged where he is at a quarterback because they're stuck in the past. First of all, Jalen Hurts is a good passer. Is he the best passer? No, he's not. But he's a good enough passer to win Super Bowls. Second, Jalen Hurts is a dual threat quarterback, which is great. He can use his legs to hurt defenses. That's why a Hall of Fame coordinator like Steve Spagnuolo has gotten crushed in 2 Super Bowls against Jalen Hurts. But that same Hall of Fame quarterback has beaten Joe Burrow, has beaten Josh Allen, has beaten all these other guys. But he struggled against Jalen Hurts. So there's something there with Jalen Hurts. And I don't want to hear Saquon Barkley, because we've seen Jalen Hurts every other year of his career flourish without Barkley. We've seen him ball out in a Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes in 2022, and Saquon Barkley wasn't there. Of course, Saquon Barkley helps. He's a great player. But we've seen it pull forward. Even before Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown, in his rookie starting season, we saw him, well, he wasn't a rookie, but it was his first starting season. We saw him take the team to the playoffs. A team that really wasn't that good at that point. They were a 9-win team. But they got to the playoffs because of Jalen Hurts. So this idea that he's not a top 5 quarterback is ridiculous. And be honest, I'm putting him in tier 1 with these other players. Only one of the players in tier 1 have won a Super Bowl. And you can't tell me Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen haven't had talent around them. Joe Burrow has 2 really good wide receivers, and some people will tell you they're the best wide receiver duo in football. Of course, I think it's A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but that's another story. Lamar Jackson has had talent. He currently has Derrick Henry. He did not get to the Super Bowl. He has not performed the way Jalen Hurts has performed in the playoffs. Josh Allen, he does play well in the playoffs, but he has not gotten over the hump. He has not done what Jalen Hurts has done to Kansas City. He has not. He's failed. He's a great quarterback. I'm a big Josh Allen guy. But to me, you have to put, and I don't care what order, you have to put Jalen Hurts in the top 5. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The only other Super Bowl winning quarterbacks in the top 10 are Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford. To me, tier 2 will consist of just 2 players, maybe 3. I might move Jared Goff in there, have Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford. Justin Herbert, to me, is not a top 10 quarterback. Why do people keep putting him in there? Because his physical talent. They're so focused on your physical ability. But quarterback's a lot more than just your physical ability. You have to do so much else. Why does Justin Herbert fail in the playoffs every single year? Remember, he blew that huge lead to Jacksonville. So I don't want to hear that he's a top 10 quarterback. He's not. I mean, I think people should give Jared Goff a little bit more respect. You could argue that he should be in tier 2. He's been to a Super Bowl. Of course, I don't think he's a great playoff quarterback. So I would probably leave tier 2, just Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford. And I would put Jalen Hurts in that tier 1. Now, Brock Purdy has been to the Super Bowl. I didn't really think he played good in the Super Bowl. I think if you put Jalen Hurts on that San Francisco team at the end of that game, when I forget what happened exactly, but I know that San Francisco had the ball around the 50-yard line, and I think it may have been off a turnover or something, and they could have went downfield and scored. And every opportunity that Brock Purdy got at the end of that game to really seal the deal, he failed. And to me, that's why I'm not going to put him in tier 1 or tier 2, because I'm still not a believer. But I think he's maybe around the range they got him right now. Actually, I have no problem with that. But first of all, I would put Brock Purdy over Geno Smith. What has Geno Smith accomplished? He's played some good seasons, but come on, man. What does he want? I think Jordan Love's a little low. At least I've seen Jordan Love have some playoff victories. And as much as I hate the Cowboys and Dak Prescott at 17 is ridiculous. I mean, I would rather have Dak Prescott over Geno Smith, if I'm being 100% real. I would rather have Dak Prescott over Kyler Murray or Trevor Lawrence. And I'd probably rather have him over Justin Herbert, because I'm not a Justin Herbert guy. I don't believe him. I think CJ Stroud's a little low. I think Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, and CJ Stroud are all better than Geno Smith. All of them. Personally, that's how I see it. Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield, we've seen them play well in the playoffs. So I think they're, definitely higher than Geno Smith. Okay. So bottom line though is my tier 1, I would put Jalen Hurts in there. I'll leave the other quarterbacks in there. That's fine. They all have MVPs. But Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl MVP, and we've seen him in 2 Super Bowls, okay? Not 1 Super Bowl. We've seen him in 2. So to me, at that point, and look at it. Even 2023 before the collapse, he started 10-1. He was winning games. He beat Buffalo in overtime. Remember, he played well. Yeah, he was turning the ball over too much, but there were some issues that year, but they cleaned them up. I've seen Jalen Hurts do it multiple times, multiple years, and Saquon Barkley was only there for 1. So I just don't want to hear that anymore. So tier 1 is 5 players. To me, right now, if I'm being honest, tier 2 is just Jaden Daniels and Matthew Stafford. 2 guys I know that are capable of going to win a Super Bowl. They're clutch in the playoffs. I've seen both of those guys. Tier 3, at the top of tier 3, I would have Jared Goff. Borderline tier 2, but he's a little bit of a playoff choker. Brock Purdy, I would probably keep him in tier 3 as well. I would probably move Geno Smith out, Jordan Love in, Baker Mayfield in, CJ Stroud in. That's probably how I would do it. Dak Prescott would be at the top of tier 3B. He's a playoff choker, Dak Prescott, and that's why he's rated so low. But he is a good regular season quarterback, so I expect him to have a good regular season this year. Bottom line, though, guys, the people are too focused on passing ability when it comes to quarterback. Chris Sims is only focused on passing ability. You gotta when you have a dual threat quarterback, it's not just passing; it's what he does on the ground and passing. Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over when he's used right. He doesn't turn the ball right. Jalen Hurts is the most clutch quarterback in the NFL right now. That's something Tom Brady had that made him great. Tom Brady's not the most athletic guy. Nobody thought Tom Brady was great when even after his first Super Bowl. I remember drafting him the year after in fantasy football. Got him way late. Nobody thought he was anything. Even Even the year after that, the year they won their second Super Bowl, beginning of the year, nobody thought Tom Brady was going to be anything. So Jalen Hurts is going to have to win another Super Bowl before he gets his true respect. And he will do that. But the bottom line is, it's not just passing ability that wins. It's all of it. The intangibles matter. Being clutch, not turning the ball over, delivering a dime on fourth down. It's not how great of a passer you are. I've seen a lot of great passers. Look at Trevor Lawrence. First overall pick. Supposed to be the best talent we've seen since what? Andrew Luck. Supposed to have all this talent, but he can't win. He's not a winner. So I don't care. Carson Wentz, great arm talent. But it's up here that matters. This is where Jalen Hurts has it, guys. This. He has physical abilities. He can run better than most quarterbacks. But he's got it up here. That's where Jalen, just listen to the guy. The guy's keyed in. He's a winner. And I'm telling you, by the end of his career, he will be a Hall of Fame quarterback. And all this bullshit, people like Chris Sims are going to have to swallow their pride and admit that Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. That's all I got now. Guys, let me know what you think down below. Talk to you later.
Because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so.